Okay, so let's get us started since we've only got about an hour with our presenters today. Hello, my name is Jacob Falkenberg. I am the Communications and Member Services Director at Venture Portland. And today we're going to be talking about graffiti and trash cleanup and some organizations that are working to make that a lot easier for you all as we head into the holiday season. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items. We are going to be recording this, so feel free to, if you do need to leave early, you'll get a follow-up email from me with the information for our YouTube channel, where all of our webinars are living right now, so you can catch the rest of it there. As well as if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or use the hand raise feature. We've got a smaller group today, so I really want to make this an informal conversation and give you all an opportunity to ask questions to our presenters who are generously donating their time. So I just want to go ahead and just start us off with just a round of introductions. So why don't you just tell us your name, your business district, and why you're kind of interested in cleaning up your district. So some of the maybe issues that your districts have been dealing with in the recent months. So we'll start off with Jeff. Hey, welcome, Jeff.
Hey everybody, Jeff Lynott, CII Director at Venture Portland. I help support Foster area, Lents, Gateway, St. John's, and Midway and Williams District. And yeah, excited to learn ways that we can support some of the businesses that are dealing with these common challenges.
Thanks, Jeff. Up next is Tanya. Welcome, Tanya.
Thank you. So I'm Tanya Hartnett, St. John's District, and St. John's is dealing with a lot of construction going on between buildings and an upcoming PBOT project, as well as they're getting new trash cans. So they're figuring out about like placement, as well as they've been having some issues with a bunch of homeless camps leaving trash around. So I am here to see how we can help with all of that.
Great, thanks. Next is Deborah. Hey, Deborah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Deborah Rochford, and I am a district manager through Venture Portland. Right now, I work with the Williams District, but I've also worked with Northeast Broadway, Belmont, Kenton, to name a few. And then I also am on the board of Alberta Main Street as my neighborhood district. And so I definitely, I look around these districts and drive around and just see how much trash is around and how much we need to, help out right now with it. And so, yeah, just looking forward to seeing how we can help organize around, this issue.
Awesome, thank you. And next is Kathy. Hi, Kathy.
Hey, I'm Kathy Medor. I'm the district organizer for Lloyd and Beaumont. And I guess I would agree with what everyone's saying, finding ways to help out, to clean up, because it is a common problem all over the city.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Sure.
Next is Christian. Hey, Christian.
Hey, everybody. I'm Christian. I'm the district manager for the Foster area. And my understanding is that we're also looking forward to getting some trash cans soon. And so that'll be exciting to see where those, where we can figure out where the right places to put those are. Foster is traditionally underserved by a lot of city services, and we're like a nice up and coming district. So nice to figure out ways to get it clean and keep it clean for make it more appealing for pedestrians and bikes and other the kind of business traffic that we're trying to attract here.
Thank you, Christian. And next is Pooji. Pooji, good to see you again.
Hi, good to see you too. My name is Pooji Sher. I'm with Miller Paint. We're part of the Central East Side Industrial Council, and Jacob was at our morning meeting today where we heard a little bit about this program. So I wanted to learn more. We're also the distributor for Metro Paint, so we wanted to support our partner on this and also know Frank and Adopt One Block. So I'm excited to hear what you guys have going on.
Great, thanks for being here. Up next is Art.
Hello there, Art A from the Lensgrown Business District, and it's a passion of mine to make the neighborhood a lot more livable for residents and houseless neighbors as well, and for business districts. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Art. And next is Nana. Hi, Nana.
I'm Nana. I'm new to Venture Portland, and I'm the new district manager for Gateway. And I'm really looking forward to finding new and constructive ways to keep the streets of Gateway clean. And I'm really excited about just working with people in the community and finding ways to keep the area clean and healthy for everybody. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Nana. Thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
And next is Liz. Hi, Liz.
Hi, everybody. Liz Smith here. I am the president of the St. John's Boosters Business Association, and I am a big fan of community cleanups, but it can kind of be daunting to figure out how to organize them or get people to participate. So I love learning new ways to do that. And I think it's very uplifting to have cleanups in your own districts for the whole community to see, people pitching in and helping, and then any kind of art element that goes with it to help beautify. I'm absolutely for that. And I'm so looking forward to hearing the information today. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Next, we have Joshua.
Hi everyone, Joshua Baker. I'm with Lloyd Eco District, and I'm also on the board of the Lloyd Community Association Business District. And echo pretty much what most other folks say. We do have a couple active cleanups in different parts of the Lloyd neighborhood, but I think we're interested as a LCA more understanding the adopt the block and sort of what can we do between cleanups in areas of the neighborhood where those regular cleanups don't touch necessarily. So great to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, Joshua. Next is Shannon. Hi, Shannon.
Hello. So I'm the president of my neighborhood association and on the board of Travel Portland. I've already picked up our kits because I have an active population of people interested in doing cleanups in various areas and adjacent to other business districts, Hillsdale, Multnomah, to name two. And so I just want to offer my thanks to Metro and to the paint company, which one? Miller Paint, for being so accessible and helpful in gathering our kits and preparing them. And being, I'm just super excited. So I wanted to learn more.
Glad to hear it. Okay, next is Bridget.
Hi, good morning. Nice to see you again, Jacob. Thanks for popping into our meeting this morning. And I'm super excited just to hear about, as everyone said, new ideas and new ways to take the cleanups and make them more consistent, make them more accessible, get the equipment in the hands of the volunteers who are itching to make a difference in our communities, and really grateful for this forum to learn more about it all. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And finally, Jill. Hi, Jill.
Hello, this is Jill with Multnomah Village Business Association, and what everybody else said. We're all here for the same reason. Looking forward to it.
Cool, thanks. All right, well, let's get us started. And we're gonna start with Frank Moscow and Olivia Langley of Adopt One Block. So welcome, Frank and Olivia. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your organization?
Sure. Well, I'll kick things off. We're here to make your storefront nicer, cleaner, happier. And we're here to make sure that everybody that is in your retail business district has everything that they need to make that happen, delivered to their front door for free. What we're modeling this on is Adopt One Block in the neighborhoods. And Adopt One Block in the neighborhoods is simply a reimagined way to make our neighborhoods and our city cleaner and happier. What we looked around and saw was that the meetup model was necessary, but clearly not sufficient for the challenges that we all see in our respective neighborhoods. It wasn't getting the job done. And so we changed the model completely. Our model is you get to clean up when you want, where you want, with cleanup supplies delivered for free. So no scheduling to volunteer, no commuting to volunteer, no organizations to join, no fundraising. You simply become a great land steward right at your front door. We launched this program 10 months ago, and we now have over 4,700 block ambassadors or volunteers committed to consistently cleaning up 5,500 square blocks. The vast majority of them are in all of the neighborhoods that you represent. The next step in this is the retail business districts, the areas that are highly trafficked and that get a lot of extra trash, traffic, and opportunity in each of your areas. And so we're working in conjunction with the City of Portland and Venture Portland to be able to enable a linear block program. And what that means is that two different retailers will be able to adopt a linear block. Let's say, Southeast Hawthorne from 34th to 35th, and they will receive free of charge enhanced cleanup supplies. So what that means is a trash picker. Let's start with the normal stuff. The trash picker, they get gloves. They get a Sharps medical container if that is an issue. And they get either a garbage bag or a garbage bucket. For the retail partners, they are also going to receive a graffiti removal kit. And can you show them what's in the kit?
Yep. So the kit will come with a refillable aluminum can. This has a solution that is safe for the environment, and it enables you to be able to remove graffiti on the back of signs, on buildings, and a few other locations. There is gloves in here and also a few other supplies to just help you get the job done.
And in addition to that, Oliver from Metro Paint will talk about the paint that we are also going to deliver for free to any retailer's doorstep. It was wonderful to hear Christian, thank you. You said our tagline perfectly, and we appreciate it so much. It's not just get it clean, it's keep it clean. And what we see in the one-off events is that as a society, we are really good at marshaling a bunch of resources to get an area clean, and then we go away from it. And in a day, a week, a month later, it doesn't look very good anymore. What we wanted to do was empower the people who are the most passionate about the area, which is either the people who live in a block or the people that own or manage our retail storefronts. Empower them, the people who really care the most, to be able to easily clean up what is right in front of them, what is right out their front door. And so with this program, we are making it super easy and free for anybody on a retail business district to be able to clean up their storefront and make it more inviting for their customers. We will be rolling out the technology in the next 45 to 60 days, but even prior to that, we are willing to and happy to take requests via email, and we will make sure that those supplies get delivered to that store free of charge. And that is available to everybody in the Portland area. Part of this is the paint for painting over the surfaces that graffiti can't be removed from. And we'll turn it over to Oliver to talk about that. But the way we have envisioned this working with Metro Paint is that when a store owner, manager, employee reaches out to us and orders, that they will be able to choose from a selection of paints, and that 5-gallon paint drum and a paint kit will also be part of the cleanup supplies that we Adopt One Block will make sure gets delivered to them. So with that, I'll turn it over to Oliver, and then we'll kind of wrap it up and ask for questions.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. I'm Oliver from Metro Paint. We are equally excited about this initiative to help clean up Portland. I recognize a few familiar faces, but has everyone heard of Metro Paint? Or you can just shake your head if not. I didn't know if we needed a background on Metro Paint. I'll just give a quick little background. So we are a service of Metro, and we recycle latex paint for the entire state of Oregon. So we partner with Paint Care. There's 140 plus drop-off locations. That's actually good information to pass on to your communities, where you can drop off unused, unwanted latex paint. That paint then makes its way to our facility, where it's sorted, screened, put through our lab, and then reblended into a new product. And so this is architectural paint, interior, exterior. It's used for everything from normal applications for residential properties to businesses to graffiti abatement. So this isn't a graffiti abatement specific line of paint. It's our normal architectural paint that some businesses or residents choose to use as probably the most eco-friendly product out there, being that it's 100% recycled paint, and it's also probably one of the most affordable products out there. So in our eyes, this is the perfect, initiative in this time, to be able to provide a free resource, and then also just let businesses and community members know that this is, we always have this product. So some businesses are choosing to use it. If they have a wall that's constantly getting graffitied, that they'll actually just repaint that wall a color of Metro Paint so that they can just continuously then paint it out. And I know that Bridget, I think, is probably has been doing this for a decade plus, and has been the pioneer of kind of taking charge and having her own resource, literally at her exit door. And that's kind of what Frank said, as far as to provide the community and the business districts this resource, so they're not relying on, programs that are spread thin, as far as at least cleaning up the graffiti. That's obviously a challenge in Portland. So that's the paint that will be provided in the kits. I think we have it. It's going to be listed in 4 color categories. So it'll be a medium blue, a medium gray, a medium brown, and a cream. Metro Paint does make more colors, but that's just what's going to be. It's hard to offer our whole program of colors. Less choice is easier sometimes. And I think that is it. Like Frank said, it'll also come with a sundries kit. I can probably share with you. I just put a link in the chat, so that those are the kits that were made, and you'll see that it also includes the other kit that Frank showed. So that's just, it gives you an idea. Just as a full sundries, roller, paintbrush, tape, paint roller, paint cover, that will be included in these kits that will be delivered. So we're equally excited to be a part of this.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you, Oliver. That's great. So let me dive back in and just share how this will work now and how this will likely work in 45 days or so. Well, how it works now is send us an email if you have, if there are specific retailers that want these supplies. We will reach out to them and we will do it manually. In 45 days, we hope to have a website app that's going to be a separate instance of our website. It's going to be adoptoneblock-business.com. beautifyblock.org. And that is going to be the portal for any business to be able to come in, enter their address, their map will pop up. They will be able to select their storefront that they want to adopt, and order supplies, and it will all be done electronically. And this will be purpose-built website only for the business districts. It's a completely separate application than what we are doing for our residential block adoption. So everything will, in the next hopefully 45 days or so, be online, electronic, easy to use, easy to scale, and just as quick and as simple and as straightforward as the regular adoptoneblock.org website is for the residential block adoptions. So with that, I'm sure there are probably a lot of questions, and we're here to answer.
Thanks, Frank. Yeah, feel free to, if anybody has a question, to chime in or use the chat. My first question is just kind of the difference between the residential program and the business program for Adopt One Block. So it seems like for the residential program, someone can choose to adopt one square block,
Right.
essentially where their home is, and then the surrounding streets around there. And I assume that they're just cleaning up trash that's on public property, right? There's no, they wouldn't be going on to a vacant lot to clean up trash, or would that be okay?
So the short answer is that there's two primary differences between the residential block adoption and the business block adoption. The first is that the residential block adoption is square block, and people have the opportunity to adopt more than one square block in their residential neighborhood. Whereas the business block, the business program is really meant to just be linear. From 34th to 35th along a particular street to keep their storefront clean, because that is what matters to them the most. The second big difference is that they're getting enhanced cleanup supplies. They're getting the graffiti removal kit. The businesses are getting the graffiti kit. They're getting the paint. They're getting those things that the residential block ambassadors are not able to access.
Gotcha. So residential participants focus really on garbage pickup, trash pickup, and then the business participants are going to focus on both trash pickup and graffiti abatement on their specific storefronts.
That is correct.
Great, thanks. Looks like Jeff has a question. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, I was hoping for a little bit of clarification. So I know this is, designed mostly for business owners to sort of take ownership of their block. Some of the problems we see in our districts is where, you might have a string of vacant buildings and there isn't a business owner to be had to support that block. How can we support those areas? Does it have to be just a business owner that adopts that stretch, or are other people able to volunteer for this?
Great question. Other people are able to volunteer. But what we are focused on in the initial launch of this is the major retail business district streets. And we realize that in neighborhoods that there may be vacant lots along that street, and people are going to be able to fully volunteer for 1 block or 3 blocks down their street if they want. And that will be part of the map that will come up, where you put in your address and a street's going to come up highlighted in yellow. And you can choose that street, or you can move your cursor like you do in any other mapping app to be able to go down 3 streets and say, no, I'd rather adopt this block. Does that help?
Thank you.
Great. Next question looks like Shannon. Hey, what's up?
Hi, so I was hoping to dial in today and get best practices for use of the materials that are being provided, for maybe colors that are used by ODOT or other city services to paint, so that we know what color we're choosing matches and it's not a guessing game for my volunteers to go out. And I didn't find any of those resources, so either I don't know where to look or they don't exist, but these are the types of things I called in for, best practices. How to organize the volunteers that are interested in doing this, how often we should go out, hopefully there's best practices.
I'll start this, and Oliver and Olivia, please chime in. The organization is actually going to be done by us. You don't have to do anything. What we ask for is for you to help us get the word out, and specifically aggressively put out our URL to the Adopt One Block -business when the programming is completed. So what we're trying to do is make it as easy as possible for everybody in the ecosystem, and that includes everybody on this call, to be able to say, you really don't have to do a whole lot. Just let people know we're out there, and we'll take care of it from there. As far as best practices, every block, every neighborhood, every situation is different. So Shannon, the short answer to your question is, unfortunately, it depends. There are some places that need daily work. There are some places that need weekly work. There are some places that only need work every 2 or 3 weeks. And we believe that the people who know most about that are the people who actually live and work in that block. So rather than being overly prescriptive, what we are saying is, hey, you live here, you work here, you know what's going on in your block, you do what you think makes sense given the reality that you see on a daily basis. And as far as the paint, Oliver?
Yep, that is probably the biggest challenge. So yes, there are certain colors that certain organizations, that certain neighborhood districts use, but they're all different. So, I mean, the biggest one is like ODOT and PBOT and the city's graffiti program. All technically, there is one color that's used for them, but they often reach out to us for different colors, depending on different buildings, depending on different neighborhoods. So that's why it's quite challenging to have just one color or even 2 colors. So we're trying to offer some neutrals that are, I would say, exterior building specific to the best of our abilities. So that's why we try to do, neutral kind of light grays, or sorry, neutral grays, browns, blues, at least from, driving around for the last 18 months and seeing how, the different buildings that are being painted over or tagged, it is somewhat of a guessing game. We also have, dark brown paint going out to contractors to paint all of the electricity poles. So it's really all over the place. We're open to suggestions. We're just trying to figure out the easiest way, like Frank said, to get the resources in people's hands when you've got, potentially needing 100 colors, and you can only really probably provide 4 efficiently.
As a follow-up, we have 5 of your colors. It's just, I don't know if there's any rules to apply. I mean, if we get to choose which beige I have all your taupes and grays. So do we get to choose? Are there best practices about, like, bridges should get X and, electrical boxes should get Y? Unless you're leaving it up to volunteers, because that's better than nothing, then we'll do that.
I probably missed that key element, which is we really only can advocate for, for either for the property owners to make those decisions on their property and not volunteers. And same thing goes for bridges. Because I did a ride along with ODOT, and no volunteers want to be painting ODOT territory. It's way too dangerous, and it's something that we kind of try and obviously stay clear from. So it's where kind of permission is granted from either residents or business owners. And then as far as color, with this program, we're offering 4 colors because we're not at the ability to offer all of them at the moment. People can purchase, any color they'd like. So as far as what's free to, within this program, there's going to be 4 color categories that are offered that are going to be somewhat rotating as well. So it might be, a light brown that you pick up one month, and then the next month, a light brown category might be slightly different. So it is, granted, we do have a color palette that is constant. So businesses and residents can choose one of our standard colors, which then they know will be produced, year after year. So that is an option. So this is the graffiti kits is a quick solution to help with the enormity of the problem. And then if people wanted to use us ongoing, we would say pick one of our standard colors that would need to be purchased, if that makes sense.
Thanks, Oliver. It looks like Bridget has a question.
Well, I actually was just going to offer something that we've done in the Central East Side is sort of trying to handle this particular question about what can you paint and how do you paint it and how do you get it done. And I think one of the reasons that I'm excited about the Adopt One Block program is that it would allow us to work as neighbors in a way where where we're not getting as tripped up in the larger programs where the city and is involved, so that I'm actually able to go to my neighbor and say, would you like me to paint out your building in your color? And if so, can you provide it? Or would you like Metro's A, B, C, or D? And do we have your permission to do that? So I think if I'm working with my neighbors on a small, block to block scope, we'll be able to have that permission and that understanding, and we'll also be able to roll out that graffiti right away versus waiting for the procedure to catch up with it. So I think we would know right away, don't go on the freeway, don't go on the bridge, but help your storefront neighbor take care of their storefront. And so to your question, Shannon, how do you do that? I think we do that with our neighbors and figure that out one-on-one. And then hopefully in again, the effort to keep it clean, like you guys are saying with the Adopt One Block, we continue to do that. We do that regularly. We hit that little micro graffiti on the light poles with a Metro brown, because we know that matches and we know we'll be okay with that. And we hit my building with my own red that I have already purchased by my back door, and maybe my neighbor's building with a gray that is Metro that they don't mind it not matching because they want that painted out rather than the graffiti. So I think one of the things that I think is great about this program is it gets us out there with those conversations and figuring it out, because unfortunately graffiti is really complicated. And what you can paint, how you can paint, how high you can paint, whether it's private property, public property, it's really nuanced. So at least this gets us, with our direct neighbors, getting at the problem and hopefully keeping it clean too. Just my 2 cents.
And we do have an insert that'll be going into each kit that has a generalization of what you can paint and what you should stay away from.
That reminds me of another question I had. Just for anyone who runs across, something that they're uncomfortable cleaning up, whether it be a biohazard or, a campsite, or maybe a dangerous part of the road that they're not comfortable with being on. Are there resources for those people who still want those things cleaned up? Is that something they should go through the city to report? What's the best way to do that?
So the answer is it depends. Metro Rid is doing a great job of catching up on their backlog. They have 4 crews out now. They're going to have 8 by the end of October. And they are well trained in terms of dealing with the stuff that we may all not really want to touch. So I would do that. If it is obstructing a property, or a freeway like I-5 or I-84 or 26 or 405, there is an ODOT email address, and they're pretty good about getting rid of things that are impeding a roadway. There's other city resources as well, and all of that information will be available on our FAQs on our website. But to the previous point, there is a lot of nuance. I wish there was one number that you could call that would be kind of like the trash and garbage graffitis are for all of the Portland metro area. Unfortunately, that is not the case. So we'll make sure that all of that information is in the FAQs on our website.
Great, thanks. And another question, it sounds like you've already got a lot of volunteers already signed up, which I think is great, you know, a couple thousand, I think you mentioned. Is there a way for someone to check and to see if their particular block has already been claimed? And, you know, if so, is there a way for someone to claim another block? Or you mentioned, you know, sometimes you could have more than one person on a block. Is there a way to coordinate with that person? Can you provide that information to people who would be interested?
Funny you should ask. So our business website that we are going to launch and that we're talking to you about today is really designed strictly for the retail business districts. But if you go to adoptoneblock.org, what you will see in about 30 days, hopefully, is you'll be able to type in your zip code and see all of the blocks that have been adopted in red on a heat map. And we'll have that available to everybody, whether you are in Adopt One block or not. We'll have that available to everybody to take a look at in the next, hopefully, 30 days. We're under the final stages of development of our core website, and the heat map, i.e. the ability to take a look at a neighborhood down at the block by block level and see via a red dot which blocks are adopted and which blocks are not adopted, is going to be one of the new features that we are going to make available to everybody in our new version of our core website.
And then I'll jump in. Olivia here. I'm the operations manager for Adopt One Block. Frank and I are in the same room, so if I don't pop up large, that's why. So just raise your hand if you can't hear me. But I'll use my loud speaking voice. To your question, Jacob. So once our version of the Adopt One Block -business will be available, essentially what happens is whether you're the first person to adopt your linear block or the second person, you'll be sent an email letting you know the name of the other business that is also adopting that block. So there is a mechanism in place for us to be able to connect business owners, managers, employees, and let them know. We are not sharing any personal contact information, but we are making the name of the business who's adopted that linear block available to the other folks accessing this portal. That way we are fostering, as Bridget mentioned, the community of the same owners on the same street, so that we are fostering those communications, having conversations about, you know, how can we tackle this area together and care for our shared area and space.
Great, glad to hear it. I think that's going to be huge, is, you know, not duplicating anybody's work, and if people can collaborate and work together, I think that's going to be really helpful, especially for you know, the business associations that are, you know, made up of 50, 100 businesses. When you've got you know, a bunch of businesses involved, you want to make sure that, you know, you're being as efficient as possible. So I think that's going to be a great feature once it's rolled out.
Absolutely.
I think Jill had something to share. Jill, hey.
Not share, but question. The the paint, what quantities are available? What's the standard unit? Do we order with a kit in advance, or can we get a kit for graffiti removal and then say I would like a gallon of taupe number 2 and a pint of blue number 3? Or how does that work?
Yep. So for this initiative, all the sizes are going to come in 5-gallon pails. We do have other products. We do have other colors in gallons, but those will be needed to be purchased. And that's mainly an efficiency thing for us. To be able to pump it out into 5-gallon pails is much easier than, and we actually don't have the space to stack up hundreds and thousands of gallons in our facility. So everything that would be ordered would be 5 gallons, unless you decided to purchase it in gallon quantities.
And the reason for that is it's easier for Metro Paint and more economical for them to do it. And it's easier for us in terms of the delivery of saying, rather than delivering paint to somebody every 3 weeks, we give you enough so that it's going to last for a while, so that we don't become a supply bottleneck for taking care of graffiti. We know that in many places that this is an ongoing issue, and we want to make sure that you have enough to be able to actually address this, rather than following up with us either electronic in some electronic method, 2 or 3 times a month to get more supplies.
Thank you both. Looks like Shannon's hand is up. Shannon, did you have another question or something you want to share?
Apologies, that just remained up.
Oh, okay, no worries. That does remind me of another question I had for Oliver. Since you're the paint expert, we're heading into the rainy season here, and I was wondering, with graffiti abatement and the paints that you're providing, does that have to be on a dry surface, or can that be? Can you paint onto a wet surface?
Yeah, we always suggest definitely painting onto a dry surface. The city's graffiti removal contractors don't necessarily always adhere to that, mainly because they're trying to cover as much wall space as they possibly can. And if it's, a lot of this isn't a professional paint job, but most of the time they're going to paint when the surface is dry, and that's definitely what we recommend. Pooji from Miller Paint probably has some advice on that, but you'll run into issues, and it will become a headache if you do apply, our paint or any Miller paint or anything on wet surfaces, as far as bubbling and peeling. Temperature wise, Pooji, you can comment on this, but I know that the graffiti removal companies and contractors, they paint all year round, except for probably windstorms and snowstorms.
Yeah, I would just agree with that. Dry surfaces, and as it starts to get into the rainy season and it's colder in the morning and there's heavy moisture, you might want to wait till that burns off a little bit. Even if it's overcast, it's okay to paint, just making sure your surface is dry, but basically you end up with a extremely long dry time, curing time. If you paint when it's too wet in the air, then the paint won't dry properly. So you could get some runoff if it's not properly cured. So you want to avoid that.
Great, good to know. Thanks for clarifying. Jill.
Thank you. So if we're cleaning up a site and run across biohazard, I feel like this was sort of touched on. I want to be super clear. What do we call for biohazard cleanup if unexpectedly run into something that's more than just sharps?
So it depends upon where it is. But you do have, if you're in the clean and safe area, they have specific resources. Metro RID has resources available to cover that. And then I believe the city does as well. So a lot of it depends upon where you are, but there are resources available to handle that. And Olivia just posted the link for the Metro RID reporting. I've gone out, I've spent some time with the teams at Metro RID before COVID. They do great work. And delighted to hear that they're now at 4 teams on their way to 8 teams that will really make a big difference in the community.
Glad to hear that. And I'll be sure to include these resources in my follow-up email to everybody, so you can have that all in one place, because yeah, as Frank said, it kind of depends on where it is, and that will determine who is responsible for coming to take care of it. Okay, so we are nearing the end of our time. Does anybody have any other questions for our guests while we have them here? I want to be respectful of everybody's time, but this is a great opportunity if you are thinking of launching a cleanup effort in your district to hear from some experts and really take advantage of new tools to make things a lot easier to organize your volunteers. And you can't beat having free materials and supplies. So anybody else have any questions?
I have a quick question. This is Nana. I was wondering, you said that the website would be posted and ready to go within 45 days. Is there an exact launch date for that? And also, are there any promotional material to kind of let other people know about the cleanup resources that are available?
The date is not exact. Anytime you're dealing with software. I wish it was, but that's just not the way it seems to work. So stand by on that one, but we'll be very aggressive about getting the word out. In terms of that, we are going to be letting our, through the city of Portland, through Venture Portland, through our 4,700 volunteers, and through social media, we will be, once we are launched, being very aggressive about getting the word out so that people hopefully hear about this in a multiple channel environment.
And then also, in addition to that, when the time comes, happy to put together a one-pager that you all would be able to take and share out to all of the folks in your various areas. Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
Deborah, you have a question?
Yeah, just adding on to that. What is super helpful for some of us, especially when it comes to social media, things like that, is if there are already, done graphics or things like that people can just download to be able to then put up on their social media and that kind of thing. So it'd be great either as part of, what you're doing with the website or whatever, to have, whatever partners, even if it's a different page that's kind of hidden just for partners after they sign up, but something that's easy for them to download some media stuff to be able to push it out. Easy, already sized, social media kind of imagery and stuff like that just makes it so much easier for us to be able to grab and post.
Absolutely.
Great feedback.
Yes, and that's part of what we're all pulling together.
And sort of along the lines on promotion and thinking a little bit more down the road, once people are registered and people are active, will districts or you mentioned on the map, you'll sort of be able to see where other people are active. Will it be potential for districts to get these are actually the names of the companies that signed up, so we can either shout out on social media, thanking these folks for already signing up or for participating?
We've got, go ahead on that.
Yeah, so Frank and I are looking at each other. Yes, we will be able to provide lists of all of the businesses that are participating in the Adopt a Block -business iteration of what we are doing. Absolutely.
And it's our intent to, through Venture Portland, through us, through the city, both direct and in social media, to be able to actually give aggressive shout outs to those businesses that are doing it, i.e. hopefully free PR, free publicity, free marketing, in exchange for them making the extra effort to do the right thing.
That's a great point. Yeah, volunteer recognition when we're dealing with these types of activities is super important. So as your business owners are signing up, make sure to recognize them on social media, and hopefully that can help get the word out as well. Venture Portland's also going to be pushing out all this info on our e-newsletters and social media. So the more exposure that we can give, I think the more people will get involved and the more successful that these programs will be. Anybody else have anything that they wanted to ask or share before we wrap it up for the day? Okay, well, you'll get a couple of minutes back in your day. I wanted to thank Frank and Olivia from Adopt One Block for being here. It's really exciting to hear about this program, and can't wait to encourage everybody to sign up. Also, thanks to Oliver from Metro Paint. It's great that you're providing these kits for free. I think making it as easy as possible for people is the biggest thing. So you're definitely doing that. So keep up the good work. And I'll send out an email probably tomorrow with a link to our presentation and some additional resources as well. So let's keep the conversation going. And yeah, good luck to everybody. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.